Sorry for
I
stealing y'all.
just,
Oh no,
we
no,
should have recorded you. We should have.
Lance, I should have hit record when you were doing. I should have just went ahead and went live, and that could have been a part of this conversation. But we are live now, and it's recording now. So Lance, you did at the end there, you talked about something. So Lance, this is Lance McAllister, you guys. He's from the great state of Louisiana. And he shared something just a few minutes ago as we were just talking. At the end there, if he wanted to go through the whole story, I wouldn't mind listening to it again. But at the end there, Lance, you did talk about something about the Catalyst Club, because it is something in our company. And if you're not in our company, get back with the person who shared this video with you, because you want to be a part of the Catalyst Club. But he shared something that I believe everybody needs to hear. This is somebody who's been in the industry for a while. And Lance wouldn't mind me saying this. He kind of just, sat on the sidelines and just watched and just loved the community and was a part of it. But now he feels totally different about what's to come. So Lance, could you share that with everybody? What you just shared?
Sure, absolutely. Am I unmuted?
Yes, you are.
I am? Okay, good. For those of you who don't know, or seeing me for the first time, I ran a triathlon over the weekend called Ironman. It's a 2.4 mile swim, 112 mile bike ride, and a 26.2 mile run. You have 17 hours to complete it. And I signed up and took the risk of putting myself into some very strange position, not strange, but putting myself in a place where I had to sacrifice a lot, actually. There was a lot of time away from the family because I was training for this super long event. And you can train, anybody can train and do this and get it done. But you have to make sure that your body is capable, so regular doctor visits and stuff like that to make sure you're not putting yourself at risk of not finishing this race. And this is my second time attempting this race, because the first time I didn't finish it. This year I did finish the race, and I found out later on the next day that there was a gentleman that participated in this race, and he collapsed at the finish line and passed away. He did all the sacrifice. He took all the risk. He ran his race that day. And at the end of the race, a higher power called him up to serve a greater purpose. And his time on earth here was done. And it made me think that, everything in life is a risk, everything we do. And we can sit on the sidelines, we can stay in our little bubble and never take those risks, but see people doing great things, or just see people enjoying and living life. And we can be stuck on the sidelines because we're afraid of risk. And like Anthony said, I've been in this company, been with this company for going on over 8 years now. And I absolutely love the community. We have awesome products, and we have a system in place that you don't you don't really have to take a whole lot of risk to get into the system and have a great reward with it. And I have found myself sitting on the sidelines of the opportunity of what this business has to offer, because we've had promotions come up that I didn't take advantage of because I was worried about what the community around me would think of me, because I was in this network marketing thing. And I've let a lot of time pass me by not getting involved. And we have this coming up now. We have another promotion coming up. This company is about to take a huge turn. I'm super excited about it. And it's like, okay, how many times have I sat back and watched all of these people that I've come to know just go to the next level or bring themselves to the next to their they hit their goals. And I just sat back on the sideline and watched, and it's like, okay, it's time to take that risk. It's time to get into the game. I just finished this massive, I just had this huge accomplishment, that took me 2 years to get to. Here's a 90-day challenge that I don't have to go train for. The system's in place. They show us how to just plug in and run the system. And like the Ironman that I ran the other day, there are very few people on this whole planet that have finished that particular race. And it's not because everybody can't, it's because people decide that I am not doing 2.4 miles of swimming, 112-mile bike ride, and I'm going to run a marathon that day. They make that decision. There were people that were in far worse shape than what I was in who completed it. All body types, all age. There was a 75-year-old man. I think they announced that it was his 12th or 13th time running the Ironman, and he was a finisher all the times that he ran. Anybody could do what such a small number of people have accomplished, but they make the decision not to. We're coming up to a point in our business where here's a time for us to decide. Are we going to sit on the sidelines and watch everybody else have these great accomplishments and become members of this club that is going to be something that they're telling us we'll be able to, we're going to build the club. We have the chance to be the originators of what this club becomes. Are we going to make the decision to be there, or are we going to make a decision that we're going to sit back and let it pass us by? And it's another day in our life where we have to make a decision. And what are you going to decide? So.
Thank you so much, Lance, you guys. And wow, it's amazing how God works, because that actually was my topic I was going to do on my little Facebook Live, which was talk about risk. That was my topic today. And then Lance comes in and shares this about risk. And so I guess, I'll just dive into that. And then, but we also want to open this up more for the Q&A and kind of just get people to ask us questions, because we want everybody to have success. And Lance mentioned at the Catalyst Club, we want to see people become a catalyst. Where there's VIP, VIP 2, VIP 3, we all should do this together. And I was doing the morning mindset with the Ramseys this morning, and today was talking about that, that group. Who are you around that's, helping you put that energy towards going to where you want to go. And so taking the risk, we're all about to take a risk. It's the holiday season. And I can tell you this right now. This is the time where most people, I would say 98% of the people in the whole world kick their feet up and just say, hey, you know what? It's family time. Right around these months. I see it every year. I've been doing network marketing for 11 years now. And 11 years, and I promise you, majority of the people around this time of the year kick their feet up and then put themselves behind. And I say that because, get this, what you do these next 90 days is going to set you up for February, March, and April. A lot of people always question in this industry why certain people, why they get the, why they doing this. And I was just on a call with Kim Bailey. Kim Bailey is very analytical. He's real good at numbers. And he broke it down like this. Those 9 people that you bring in, let's say you go to VIP 3, well, you taking that risk to not sit on your butt these next 90 days, because sitting on your butt these next 90 days will put you behind. I'm not saying that you won't get there, but these next 90 days, if you just sit there, and I give you some examples of some people who had success. I know Robin DeMio, she joins us every so often, but she's also a part of our company. Robin DeMio started around this time of the year. Robin DeMio, that following year after she started, that not within that 6 months, went from zero income, zero extra income, started with one of our companies, Limu, started from there and went on to grow a business that did almost $250,000 a year. Myself, I started October 28, 2011. I put in the work in these months, even with trying times. Get this, not only was it the holiday season, I remember, I never forget, I had a good friend pass away right after Thanksgiving Day, same year. Now, also after that, not even like a week and a half later, somebody broke in the house and stole me and my roommate's rent money, all because my landlord wouldn't take cash. So we got evicted. Not only that, December 19th of 2011, I'll never forget, I got a call from my mom. She was crying and her house had burned down. All of this happened, but I still put in little pockets of time of work, even during the holidays, sleeping on the floor of the hotel room. But because I had made a decision and was willing to take the risk, like Lance said, you know what? I'm going to do this anyway. I might as well do it. I came out of that. By February, I had qualified for the BMW level, and I went on to, and that started that. Me and Kim Bailey and them were just talking, and we talking about, some of the first people that got started. And I had the same question came up, like Ken said, well, how much are you getting paid for the people that got started with you? Well, you know what? I don't know. It's continued to grow every month. 11 years later, I'm still getting paid for the efforts I did back then. So what I'm saying is, this is a time for you to not just forget I ain't gonna say forget the past, because the past made you who you are today. But in order for the future to happen, you got to start right now. You got to be willing to take the risk right now. Lance trained for 2 years to get to that point where he was this past weekend. For 2 years. So my question is, when are you going to start? When is your 2-year mark going to start? Because I promise you this, if you do 2 to 4 years, what most people won't do, you can have in your life whatever it is that you want that most people just wish for. I promise you that. If you do these next 2 to 4 years, you just say, you know what? Every single day I'm going to do an hour a day, 30 minutes a day, 4 hours a day. I got extra time here, 3-4 hours a day this day. Whatever it works in your schedule. Because everybody's busy. I know Michelle is a photographer. Her schedule is going to fluctuate. One day she may have just 30 minutes, but one day she may have 3 hours. But if you can dedicate yourself to do just that, be willing to take the risk, be willing to say, hey, you know what? I can't make every Christmas party this year. It's okay. There's going to be many more Christmas parties in the future. But remember what you're doing this for. Lance now understands that all of that training led up to something great, a great feeling that he has. Not of course, not the recovery process. He was just talking about that. But he understands, like, man, I did something and it paid off. Now, that's the same thing with this Catalyst Club. Now, how many of you want to take a part of that? How many of you willing to put up the risk? How many of you willing to stay up? Maybe you got to stay up an extra hour. Maybe you got to get up an extra hour earlier. What is it? What is it that you want to do? Todd just mentioned this to me, and I know Melissa was on there, and he just mentioned, about the mindset. We're only going to go as far as our mind. So what are you telling yourself? See, it was plenty of days. I keep using Lance because he did just achieve something that a small percentage ever do. A small percentage of the world ever do. Probably less than 1% of the world ever does. But that's also in this business. Are you going to be a part of that small percentage that do something that takes you to that next level? Are you willing to take the risk to get you there? And so just take those risks. Yes, he is a 1%. I don't even know if it's 1%, because like I said, 1% of the world not even going to do it. I mean, he's probably know the number of the actual number. So, I mean, it's billions of people in the world. I don't even think a billion people have ever done have ever done it. So that's what I'm saying. So he's even small. He's even a smaller percentage. 400,000 people have finished to the day. Wow. That is probably not even, that's probably 0.001. I mean, 0.01%. Probably. He probably 0.01% of the people in the whole world that ever done it. Wow. Now, can the question for him is, can he take that same effort he did there and do it here? Most of y'all are on here watching this recording because you want to make money. You want to, me and my team, we're called the legacy builders. Me and my team, we want to build legacies for our families to come. So my question for everybody else is, what kind of legacy are you trying to leave for your family? I know Michelle has kids. Does she want this for them? Does she want this for them? And if so, when are you willing to start on it? When are you willing to start on it? Just Chris Doyle was on the call as well just a few minutes ago. And he said something. He said he got a call from one of the owners, Darren, and Darren called him on Labor Day. And he was surprised that all he did was send a text and he got a call. And he was like, well, you didn't have to call. I know it's Labor Day. He's like, no, it's things that got to be done. See, successful people understand that when things got to get done, things got to get done. And so what is it for you? What do you want to, what risk are you willing to take? What are you willing to give up? See, remember, risk go both ways. Risk can go, hey, I'm going to get it done. And you also got that risk to say, you know what? I could just wait. I'll just wait. I'll just wait till the holidays over. And guess what? It's people like Lance that's going to pass you up, because Lance is going to work when everybody else isn't working. Marlene, I know me and Marlene were talking before this call. She's going to put in the work now because she understands that. I'm not saying don't enjoy your family time, but what I'm saying is, what kind of work are you still going to be doing throughout this time? Because these are the months right now that will start. I promise you, what you do in November, December, and January will set your February, March, and April. I kid you not. If your goal was, hey, I'm gonna talk to 25 people a week, every week until this 90-day challenge is up, I'm pretty sure that you will hit the Catalyst Club, because you got enough people going through and you're presenting to enough people. But then also watch how your momentum shifts going into February, March, April, May, because of what you're doing right now, you guys. So take that risk. Be willing to take that risk. Lance took the risk. Lance took a risk of training every day, putting his body through something every single day. But it paid off. And so my question for you is, what risk are you willing to take for your family to build this business for you and your family? What risk are you willing to take? So ask yourself that. What risk are you willing to take? It's kind of like weight loss, for the people that want to lose weight. It's the same thing. What risk are you willing to take? What risk are you willing to do so you can get into the shape that you want? How many calls are you willing to do? What's the risk? Your risk of you calling somebody. Me and Marlene talked about it. We both got a book. Me and Marlene talked about it. My book is red. It's red because it means like, you got to do some things. And it stands out. Like, so anytime I'm like, man, I don't have nothing to do, and I see this red book and it just hits me in the face like, no, you got something to do. You're just not doing it. But what's my risk of opening this book up? I got two things. I could either have that risk of not opening it up, and then Marlene ended up calling somebody that calls somebody that calls somebody that knows somebody that I know, and then they end up joining. And I'm like, hey, they were in my book. And I didn't call them. But I also got that risk of saying, hey, what would it hurt me if I did call these 6,000 people that was in my book? What would it hurt me? Would it harm me or would it hurt me over this next 9 days if I just picked up the phone and I just went after it and I just went and I went and I went, and what happened? and I end off with this for everybody who is thinking about the Catalyst Club. Kim Bailey said it like this, it's a difference. In our comp plan, it was, 4 gets 4, gets 4, gets 4. So we get 4, then they get 4, and that's 16, and those 4 get 4, what's that, 64, and and so on and so forth. I got it wrote down. Those 64 get 256, and 256 get 1,024, and it goes on and on. But think about it like this. Those 9, let's say you went and got 9. And then those 9, you help those 9 find 9 to become VIP. Well, that 9 just became 81. So on one standpoint, you had 16 for one level. And on this standpoint, you had 81. Then you went from that 81 times 9. Oh, man, that number, let me just get the calculator, because I just want you to see. I just want you to see something, because of what can happen right now is exponential growth. I was a part of Limu when we went through this, this hyper growth, through this momentum, and we went from 0. Well, they were making a little bit, a couple $100,000 a year. But when I joined, they had introduced something. It was the BMW Club. For anybody who understands Limu, they had just introduced it, and it caught fire because it was a system that people could do and people can achieve at a reasonable level. And guess what happened? That company went from that, a year later, had made $100 million. This company is already a $300 million company. It's already a $300 million company. Limu was only in the United States and Japan. That was it, United States and Japan. We had the opportunity to be in over 60 countries. So yeah, Melissa went and talked to Michelle, then Michelle talked to Lance, then Lance knew somebody who was related to Marlene, and Marlene is in Canada. And then Marlene knew a couple of people that went through a couple of people, and then next thing you know, she knew somebody in South Africa. But because of those people, but it's right now is that time, you guys. But that 9 times 9 is 81. And then that 81 times 9 is 729 people in your organization. Let's just do it one more level. I'm gonna show, and just doing it 4 levels, doing the same efforts you would have done before this club was invented. 4 levels would have got you 1,024. Doing it now with the Catalyst Club and giving people something to push for, because I promise you, the Catalyst Club is similar to me like the BMW Club. It was around the same level because you kind of had to have, you had to have 10 people that you kind of brought in, including yourself. So there'd be 9 other people. Get the numbers. 9 other people. You bring those people in, and you get to these levels, and you start, man, the numbers. But just 4 levels would be over 6,500 people in your organization. It'd be 6,561 people compared to 1,024. That is 5,000 more people in your organization. But I'm a numbers guy. So does anybody know how many people it actually takes to optimize a line? It only takes 134 people on subscription. But then get this. Guess how much volume is going through your business? Let's just say everybody did an Activate Pack. Now we know everybody's not gonna do Activate Pack, and I'm putting that disclaimer out there on YouTube. Hey, it takes work to get to the people. But what I'm saying is, if you just thought about it like that, just the 3 levels, just 2 levels, 81 people. And let's say they all did an Activate Pack, 200 points. That'd be over 16,000 volume points that went through your business. And that's just 2 levels. That's just you helping 90 people, becoming a catalyst. How many people do you want to be a part of this club? Lance just put in the chat for anybody who can't see it on YouTube. It's on paper that only 400,000 people have ever finished the Ironman to date. Around the world, around the globe, only 400,000 people. So my question for everybody that's watching this and watching the recording is, are you going to be one of those upfront people that, I mean, Michelle is on here. Me and Michelle both achieved the BMW Club. And that was just something that we could always live with. It's amazing. I was just straightening up and reorganizing some things. And I found that BMW box, the Limu BMW Club. I was one of the first 100 people in the whole company of Limu to ever do that. And that's something I can hang on to. That was an achievement. And there it goes. See, it's an achievement. And guess what? We as people love achieving things. Lance feels great. Well, not physically, but Lance feels great up here. He feels like, man, I did it. And guess what? He will forever be an Iron Man. He will forever be an Iron Man. Tracy talked about how he did one almost, 10 years ago. He'll forever be an Iron Man. It doesn't matter. It's just like an Olympian. Once you're an Olympian, you're an Olympian. Once you make it to the Olympics, you're Olympian. They don't say, oh, you're a previous Olympian. No, it's just like a Super Bowl champion. Once you're a champion, you're a champion. NBA champion. It doesn't matter what. Once you graduate high school, if you did, some people don't, but you got that degree, and you can say, "Hey, I graduated. I did that." So, what do you can you do that? Yes, you can. You can become a part of the Catalyst Club. You got to be willing to take the risk. You got to be willing to pick up the phone, take the risk, pick up the phone, and say, "Hey, right? I know we don't see eye to eye, but I got something I want you to hear about. I just want your honest opinion at the end." That's a family member that you don't even talk to, but you got other friends that you do love and care about. And if Michelle was my friend, I'd pick up the phone and call her. "Hey, Michelle, I care about you and your family. I want to share something with you that I believe can help you and your family out. I don't know if it's for you, but I just want you to listen." How many of you can do that? How many of you got people in your family that you just love and care about, or friends that you love and care about, where you could just pick up the phone and say, "Hey, you know what? I got something I want you to hear about. I don't care what you think of it. You just got to listen." Because the question is, Lance talked about it at the very beginning. Well, that part wasn't recorded. They talked about a guy who put it all on the line, did the whole Ironman, 17 hours of it, got to the finish line, and he left this earth. He went on to a better place with no more worries, no more pain, no more anything. But he put it all on the line. And guess what? At the end of the day, his family will always remember him as an Iron Man. He did it. He did what he wanted to do. And so my question for you is, will your family know you as the beginning of something? Like, hey, you know what? I was one of the first. It was only 2,000 people around the world that did it. And guess what? I was one of them. So ask yourself that, put it in places that you're going to remember. Print off the Catalyst Club symbol, put it all over the place, write it down. I got it on my, matter of fact, I'll show you right here. I got it on my little, you can't really read it, but I got my little gold card right here. It says, "I am so happy and grateful. Now I'm a Catalyst Club member, VIP 3. How many of you have put it where you can see it? Every single day, every day you say, "You know what, I'm tired." Well, guess what? Go read that card. Remember what you're doing it for. So that's what we got here. Michelle, did you have something you want to share? I can't believe, oh my God, I went too long.
That's all right. Nope. Like I said last week, I don't need to be seen. I don't need to be heard. It's to benefit and lift others up. And I think what Lance accomplished this week was worthy of showcasing. And thank you, Lance, so much for sharing the journey with us, not just this morning, but through the entirety of the process. You have encouraged so many along the way. You have inspired people to do things that they didn't think they could do, myself included. And, you know, to give you an opportunity to share that and share your wisdom, because you have a lot of that and we appreciate you. We value what you had to say. And thank you for all of that this morning. And just don't let the naysayers, the things that the people around you have to say, don't let it drag you down and stop you from doing the thing that's in your heart that you want to do. Sometimes those people will come around us, like Lance's incredible family, and support every step of the way. And sometimes they don't. And either way, it's okay. Don't let it stop you. So let's go out there and take the risk. Guys, love you guys. Have a great Wednesday.
Have a great one, everybody. Love you guys.
Y'all have a good day, guys.
Thank you.
Thank
Great
you.
cheers. Thank you.
Great message, Aunt Lance.